Hey guys, welcome back to the Noir Bar. I want to try something different today. My name's Tove. This is 1,000 Movies Before You Die, special segment Noir Bar, a little bit different format. Just watched a movie, just finished it. I've never done this, thought I'd record, catch my impressions without all the writing down and a little bit of research, believe it or not, that I do before these little vignettes. This one I didn't really do a lot. This is a great, great film noir. It's a classic film noir in that it pretty much has all the elements of a film noir. It's Where Danger Lives, 1950. Robert Mitchum and the amazing Claude Rains. Well, the amazing Robert Mitchum, really a noir staple, right? Out of the Past. Um, Angel Face, I just watched recently. Like, just, a great, great actor, great life story. I think he left home at like 12 and worked all across the country. It was said he was a great actor because he had to act as a child because he was in all these weird situations. I mean, just amazing. Claude Rains, this really great, sophisticated actor. Also, Faith Domergue, right, is in this. And Robert Mitchum plays a character called Dr. Jeff Cameron. And it starts off he's just working in the hospital. He's looking to open his own practice. He has a sweet nurse girlfriend, Julie, and she's actually played by the director John Farrow. His wife, her name is Maureen O'Sullivan. She plays Julie, and she's married to the director. Um, and then very early on, a woman gets brought in after an attempted suicide, right? That is Faith Demergue, and that is Margot Lanningston. Lanningston, is that right? Yeah, Margot Lanningston. And she doesn't give her real name. It's a bit of a mystery, who brought her in and why she's there. Robert Mitchum takes a shine to her, and she takes a shine to him. And then the movie really gets rolling. So they sort of, are falling in love. It's kind of the opening act. You see him sort of ditching Julie as he's going for the more sort of, I mean, clear femme fatale vibes coming from Margot. And she's being very mysterious. And then one day, they've been dating for a while. They've been sort of keeping it on the down low, and he's trying to keep it secret from Julie, I guess. And then she just tells him, I have to leave. I'm getting on a plane. My dad's really ill, and I have to go. And Robert Mitchum doesn't accept that. He gets really bombed. He's really drunk, and he drinks these amazing looking drinks. It's like this big sort of a bowl like silver cup, and in it is a half coconut, and he's drinking it. It looks delicious. Anyway, he gets really drunk. The bartender does warn him that he's going to get really drunk. And he decides to go to Margot's house, right? So he goes to Margot's house to basically tell her dad that he wants to marry her and that, he doesn't want her taken away to Europe or whatever her dad has in mind. And so he goes there and then enter the amazing Claude Rains, right? Claude Rains here in really one of his shortest roles. It's just a little over 6 minutes. I was a little disappointed by that. It's a very short role. And it turns out that Claude Rains is not her father. He is Frederick Lanningston, her husband. That's right. She's been lying about that. And what else has she been lying about? So there's a great scene here where there's all this mysterious stuff that Claude Rains is sort of talking about. Like he's warning Robert Mitchum, you can tell this is a loveless marriage. He's a lot older than her. He says, she married me for my money and I married her for her youth. And they're both not really thrilled with this. And, basically, I think he was going to let her go with Robert Mitchum, with Jeff. And but he keeps warning Jeff, right? He keeps like, are you sure you want her? Because forever is a long time. So you're really getting the sense that there's more to her than meets the eye. Robert Mitchum wisely is like, you know what? You lied to me about having a husband, and maybe these warnings I should take seriously, and he leaves. But then he hears a scream from the house. He rushes back in. She's holding her bloody earrings in her hand, and she says, "Oh, you pulled out my earrings!" Right? And there's an altercation, and Claude Rains starts hitting Jeff with Robert Mitchum with fireplace poker, and Robert Mitchum punches him, and he falls, and Claude Rains is dead. Yes, that's right. The husband is dead, and they go on the run. And this is really a great on the run. I mean, Robert Mitchum he's got a concussion, so he's getting more and more delirious, sort of he's getting more his hand, he's getting paralyzed, his arms is getting paralyzed, he's getting sort of sleepy and kind of dumb with his concussion. And throughout this, we're learning more and more about Margot as she's like trying to hide newspapers and she's trying to hide the radio broadcast. At one point, she pulls out the cord of the radio. And this sort of on the lam part of the movie is, I mean, it's great. They're going through all these different weird situations, this weird town where, they're forced, sort of jokingly forced to get married because they didn't have a beard and they weren't in cowboy costume and it's some festival going on in this town. You have to pay a fine or you have to get married here. It's ridiculous, right? And it's sort of this comedy of errors because they try to fly out at the beginning, but they hear his name page. He's pretending to be her husband, and he sees the cops there at the desks, but they don't. So they leave by car. That's why they don't fly. Turns out it was just a phone message. He was calling the name, and it had nothing to do with the cops, right? Then there's a roadblock that they end up turning around, right? And then the cop moves away from the sign. It turns out it's just some inspection for like fruit, vegetable quarantine or something. So they're getting turned around for no good reason. But then, the body is discovered and it really starts rolling as the police are moving in. But more than that, her reality is moving in on Robert Mitchum's character. I'm not going to spoil the end. I'm not going to spoil what happens. I'm not going to spoil what it is about her. You got to watch this movie. It's really great. It's Robert Mitchum's last run with RKO Pictures. He had a great run with them. He had a strange relationship with Howard Hughes. They were sort of friends, and this was the last of those many, many pictures that he did with RKO. And what I love about this is it's kind of textbook film noir in almost the neo-noir style, where, for me, one of the main textbook things that you don't have to follow, but is something that comes up a lot is the main character has no idea what's happening. You are following the main character. So you as the audience member has no idea what's happening. You know just as much as he does, right? It's a lot like Jake Geddes in Chinatown, right? We don't really know what's going on. We're always following Jake. There's other movies like this as well. Memento is a great modern neo-noir, right? Where we have no idea what's going on because we're in the mindset of the main character. And it's the same here. And a little bit like Memento, right? Where he can't remember things. Robert Mitchum is sort of going into concussion state. So we are getting confused with him. And the movie does a great job of sort of showing, this tension ratcheting up as he's getting more and more delirious, I guess. We're learning more and more about her and what Claude Rains' character, her husband, alluded to, where he's saying, "Are you sure you want this? Like, this is forever and you can't get away from her." Like, he's basically trying to warn him about her. And so we are following Robert Mitchum's character. I don't think we ever leave his sort of point of view. And so we don't know what's happening. We have a classic femme fatale, right? I mean, here you've got his nice, lovely girlfriend. You have a situation too, which is pretty classic for film noir, where he's not really doing anything horrible, right? I mean, okay, he fell for the wrong woman. Like that's kind of his crime here, right? He decides that he doesn't want really Julie. He wants the excitement of this woman, and then film noir just that vile finger of fate just touches on him, and just his life goes off the rails because of this decision, and it just gets worse and worse. And you feel for him because I remember he didn't kill Claude Rains. He punched him, and as he fell, right, he came back in the room and he was dead. So he didn't mean to kill him, and he only punched him because he was being hit in the head with a poker, and he only is in there fighting with Claude Rains because Claude Rains Because she's holding the bloody earrings in her hands, and Claude Rains is the most obvious culprit. Trying hard not to spoil things here. So, but you got to watch this because all this scene, all unravels, and as we start to learn more, we learn as he learns, basically, and start to see the full picture. And I mean, he has suspicions. He says it throughout, and we have suspicions throughout. So I don't think we're ever really ahead of him necessarily as the audience. So, classic femme fatale, classic, just a touch of fate, everything going wrong, no real reason for it. Yes, a kind of a bad decision, but just goes off the rails, and just a character that everything is just going around him along with this femme fatale, and he's just basically being pulled along. That's another sort of film noir thing, right? Like again, Chinatown is classic for this. Like the decisions that the main character is making really don't matter that much. Everything sort of just is. It's like he's fallen in a river and it's gonna take him to the bloody dark end. Maybe. Maybe there's a silver lining. Maybe there isn't. You're gonna have to find out. This is a great one. Where Danger Lives, 1950. Robert Mitchum and the great Claude Rains. Get busy watching or get busy dying.